Okay. Welcome to everyone for the regular business meeting for the month of June. Got a small crowd here today.
Our old regular is not here, Lucy.
Lucy had a wedding or something to go to.
No.
Niles, his wife is in the hospital.
Did she go to mission or where'd she go?
I don't know.
And Shane is at
Shane's
Bible,
at
Bible school.
Bible school.
something.
Danny McIntyre.
I don't think we'll see him for a
No,
while. I think
no.
he's
He's a
back.
little busy.
It'll
He's a little busy.
It'll be after September before you.
He's not in jail, is he?
No,
No.
but he's, the tax assessor quit and he's
running the
filling
jail.
in. And
Yeah.
that's, what a great time,
We need
Got
to
his-
move
Get asked
that
to
on
fill
the
in.
agenda before we adopt it.
huh?
We need to move that on the agenda before we adopt it.
Yeah, just say you're gonna move Brian's reports.
We'll move Brian's reports to right after the consideration of minutes, if that's okay with everyone, and then, he can be on his way.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes as presented.
The agenda.
Agenda, yeah.
I second
Thank you.
that. You're welcome.
Randy, get that. Alright, no public comment. Everyone had a chance to look over the minutes from May the 2nd,
Motion approved,
May the 30th.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Alright, we'll turn it over to Police Chief, Mr. Brian Buchanan.
Thank you, I appreciate you accommodating me so I get my yearly qualification done tonight. As far as police department, you have our activity logs, for the month of May. No other major updates regarding police that I'm aware of. I have a couple items under the zoning code enforcement floodplain. The first, the planning board met and, made a recommendation regarding a zoning map amendment for 204 West Boulevard. This is the old motel property. And, they've made a recommendation. The next step, we would need to set a, call for a public hearing for you all to hear that. I don't know.
Chad, what did we look at for that date? For the July meeting on that
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven?
7-11.
Yeah, which will be a special meeting since July the 4th is on our regular meeting day.
7-11.
Yep.
We were gonna address that before his report,
It's okay, we've addressed it now. It gives you less to talk about.
and we'd had some dates.
So I guess we just need y'all to say it's good for Chad to go ahead and notice it, because that's one where we gotta do a 2-week notice, and so we wouldn't have time
This
before the
way
next
it's good
meeting.
for Chad to go ahead and do it.
7-Eleven,
7-11.
Yeah.
so that'll be our regular meeting, just the next Thursday. Because we'll be on July 4th otherwise.
Okay. And, good there. Okay, and the other item I had, we got notification that they are reviewing the floodplains maps. We've been expecting new floodplain maps, and they're doing the review process right now. I don't think there's anything that the town necessarily needs to do. I know one area that it showed that they were looking at was the area we've had some issues, and they ran car crazy, that whole area. They're checking those. The maps may change, they may not change, but we did get notification that those are being reviewed.
Do you have any idea on the timeline when those will be?
I don't.
No,
We've been
I don't.
expecting, this process for
Years.
as long as I've been in the role I'm in, so I don't know
Yeah.
how long that process
Okay.
takes, but we did receive official notification, they're checking that, and that it was one of the areas under review. That's really all I have, unless anyone has anything else. All right.
Thank you, Brian. Shoot
I
straight.
appreciate it.
Hey,
All right, thank you.
Make a,
me and you and Shane scored these last.
All right.
Yeah, I can't remember.
We will move on to item number 4, under public hearings. Proposed text amendment for zoning ordinance, section 1106, Board of Adjustment. Have a motion to open the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I don't think we've got anybody.
No.
I don't think anybody signed up for it.
Go ahead, Katie.
I don't have any words that are nice.
Well, just say something.
No, don't. Okay, so there's no comment on that, make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second that.
And then we would need you guys to, if it's your pleasure, to adopt the amendment which would change the Board of Adjustment from the sitting town council to a separate board that would be appointed. You will remain
Until that,
until we get the new members appointed. So
Hope
we're,
somebody
Chad will
will do
put out some, well, I've talked to a couple people, and Chad is gonna, obviously put out some notices and see if anybody's interested in being the judge and jury. Which we haven't had to do very often, a couple of times in, I don't know, 10 years.
And motion's been like,
Yeah, Lulu's, but that's how it goes.
so we need a motion to adopt
Yeah.
this though.
Yeah,
motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Bill, you good with
Yeah,
that, sir?
good, yeah.
Motion carries.
Alright.
All right, presentations, Katie?
Listen,
She's out.
I'm out. I'm literally covering capacity.
You're gonna be called upon for Public Works and Fire Department too, so, cause they're not here, so.
Sounds great.
Well, you
Everybody's
could
been
probably
letting
do
me
fire, I mean,
know.
all right. We'll move on to Ms. Hockaday. with the
Okay,
manager's report.
first up, Meadow Road Culvert.
Oh,
I think I did mention that at the neurologist.
Yeah. Well, it bid, and we have an apparent low bidder, and the apparent low bidder was, Young Queen Grading. And we're in contact with Young Queen Grading, and I will probably be meeting with them tomorrow about how this will work. So we're gonna wait on the
Notice.
notice to award until after that meeting to see what the scheduling looks like. And that's really all I'm gonna say about Meadow Road Culvert.
And it was basically in budget, so.
It was a little, yeah, close
Just
to budget. I
very
think we
little.
had 5 bids, and which was very surprising, but they ranged from 125,000 up to 630, I think.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
mistake.
it
But
was a mistake,
basically
but
from
yeah.
125 to almost 400.
Yeah.
So,
So anyway, we're still working on that. Lead service line. So we got a loan, awarded a loan and partial principal forgiveness awarded to us back in October, and DEQ has still not sent us offer and acceptance. But we have to have this inventory done by October the 1st. So we went ahead and put out an RFQ, had, I think, 5 different consulting engineering firms send in responses. Shane and Leslie and I have scored those, and the high score was McGill and Associates. So we're going to give them notification of that tomorrow, if that's okay with you guys, and the other firm's notification of who was awarded that, and then we'll start the contracting process with them and hopefully get this done by DEQ's deadline, even though I think the grant, it ends in January, but they have yet to, and I have had multiple conversations with them, and they're like, we just don't know what we're doing. Well, that is pretty obvious. But anyway, so we're moving along with that. Along with that, High Country Council of Governments wrote the grant, and they have a grant administration agreement that they will need to have approved. It's for $20,000. Well, it's a loan / grant, but it's for $20,000 for them to administer the loan and the pay apps and all that kind of stuff. So that's on for you guys to approve, and then just a motion to let us notify McGill.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, and here's one that we typically don't do, but, so, the water treatment plant project. Started out in 2017 as a loan. Couldn't ever get it to bid within budget. Then in 2022, we borrowed additional funding. So we had 2 loans out there, and we're getting ready to rebid it. And then the ARPA grants became available, and they said, if you have a loan with us, you can flip it from a loan to a grant. So we put in an application to flip the loan, the 2022 loan, into a grant, and we were successful in doing that. So now they want us to do, so we kind of just left it on hold because we didn't know what the bids would come in. If they came in higher than the grant money, then we would still have the loans out there that we could possibly tap into. But the bid on the water treatment plant came in under the grant amount, or within the grant amount. So now DEQ wants us to de-obligate those loans and basically say we don't want the loans because now we got a grant, which is much better. We don't have to pay that back. So I need to send y'all need y'all to authorize me to send a letter to Mark Hubbard with NCDEQ, basically de-obligating those 2 loans.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah, I'd make
I
one.
make it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, update on system development fees. Got a call from Dale Sheepers. I figured y'all probably didn't want me to bring him back to do another 3-hour presentation. But the legislature made some changes in rules regarding the design flow daily average for sewer. So it had been 120 gallons a day per bedroom. Now they've lowered it to 75 gallons per day per bedroom. So what that essentially does is our computer program that allows Shane to calculate SDF fees will change from 120 gallons a day to 75 gallons a day, which would change the amount. Remember, y'all set, I think it's 61% of the price. So or of the cost for producing the water and treating the sewer. So it would change that, it would lower the amount that we get. And y'all remember, we did not go up. It stayed the same as it was before when we had the update. But we need to readjust those, need to readjust the percentage from 61% to 71%, so we still net out the same amount of money as we were, since they changed the gallons per day from sewer from 120 to 75. It's a little convoluted, but I just wanted to make y'all aware of that. We're gonna have a hearing on next Tuesday when we do our budget hearing about it. It's not for any existing customers, it's only for new development, and it's just making us get the same amount of money that we always have. It's just the percentages changed because the design flow rates changed. So, and if y'all have any questions, I'll let Dale get on a Zoom with you. Cause we had one, it took about an hour for him to go through all that, but anyway.
Hey, he knows what he's talking about.
He does. He's an extremely intelligent man, and he knows this stuff like the back of his hand. It just takes him a long time to tell you about it.
Did they do the study during when enough summer people are here?
Well, no, this wasn't. That study is just based on. They just look at what it costs us to produce water, a gallon of water and a gallon of sewer, and then the state has a regulation, and they say for each bedroom you use so much water per day and so much sewer per day. But for some reason, they have changed the sewer down to 75 gallons per day instead of 120. Water's still at 120. I don't know. But anyway, this was something the legislature did last year. SOC amendment. So we had some dates in our special order of consent with the state on when projects were certain phases of projects were supposed to be done. Since we got the ARPA grant money and the county got their money, a lot of those projects, the dates have changed. So we had to do an amendment to the SOC, and I'm just letting y'all know that it's done. And nothing changed other than some dates. And then the tax report, let me give y'all the tax report. Tell me, Chad, you've got it. Guys, I'm sorry. It looks good. I mean, Jackie is continuing to collect on the 2023s. We've got a couple that are kind of stubborn sticklers, and we've sent letters saying, last opportunity, if you don't make the payments, we're gonna have to turn them over to the foreclosure attorneys. But it really looks good. I think there was about, on the 23s, about 14,000 left outstanding. So, and I can send y'all copies of that. I'm sorry I didn't. I forgot.
I'm good.
And that is me. I'm done.
Thank you, Heather. All right, we'll move on to Mr. Fox with the
Thank you.
clerk's update.
We sort of addressed the first one, which is what we would do, since we don't wanna meet on July 4th. We decided July 7th,
11th.
well, sorry, yeah, July 11th. The same situation kinda happened in August with the crafts fair, and we thought potentially meeting on the following Thursday, which would be August 8th. If that's possible, we'll notice that for special meeting also for our regular August meeting.
Has anybody got a problem with the 6th?
On which, for August?
August, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of the staff does.
I know,
That's fine with it.
that'll be a Tuesday.
So instead of the 8th, it'll be what?
Is it 6th?
The
Sixth.
sixth.
That'll be a
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I get to do Shane's report as well. So, just to give y'all a little update on what's gone on at the sewer plant, the belt press is back up and working. The new pump showed up on Tuesday and they got it installed and it's working, and the 5 plant is looking much better, so we're excited about that. Then DOT we had a visit from, Jacob Evans and Josh Lanning. Shane and I met with them a couple of days ago. DOT is gonna show up and redo all these handicap ramps. And they're gonna redo the driveways, basically, that are off DOT roadways, and there's a new accessibility thing, where basically, I don't think it's gonna be a dip anymore. This is unfunded as of yet, but they were supposed to have information, the district was supposed to have information in, by tomorrow, I think. What they want from the towns, and it's for Madison, Yancey, and Mitchell County, they want the towns to basically send a letter saying we're in support of the project, if it's ever funded, and that the towns would take over maintenance of this infrastructure once they build it out. They're gonna be concrete. I don't know how they're gonna do the driveways, because they said and they're the engineers, and they said, we don't really know how we're gonna get it done. Because of the grade, it's basically, I think you come along the sidewalk, and most of it looked like it was gonna be out on 19. A couple of places down at Cherry Lane, and maybe down at Hunter Street. Shane and I showed them our sidewalk feasibility plan and said, is there gonna be any help along East Main? And they said, no. Some up at Green Mountain. They're gonna put in some more maybe some high-vis, crosswalks, restripe some stuff. We talked with them about Swiss and how we would like to have some kind of a flashing light thing, and he said, well, send me a letter, and I'll send it on, but I can't.
Don't hold your breath.
Don't hold your breath, is basically what they said. But, it's gonna be new sidewalking. The way I see it, the way he explained it was almost the handicap areas would sort of be like bump outs. And then but you would not have a dip going through the driveways. The driveway crossings would be raised. So you would have a place to land and then come across and another place to land. They gave us a map. There's numerous ones. They were thinking that the most they could hope for the 3 counties was $800,000. So I'm thinking it's probably a pretty
Pretty shabby.
slim shot that they get much done for $800,000. They were looking at Mars
250
Hill.
a county?
Yeah, that's not gonna go far.
And what do they mean by us, maintaining it? You mean
Well,
like-
they let
what
us
does that
know. I wish
mean?
Shane was here. They let us know DOT does not maintain sidewalks. I was like, really? We've noticed.
They know.
But then when you try to do something, on the sidewalk, they want you to get their permission. I don't know. So, I think they just want, if something happens to one of these drives or one of these ramp areas, they still were calling them ramps, but he said they're really not ramps. They're not gonna, he said, y'all will have to fix it. Would we agree to that? If we don't agree to it, it won't happen, according to them.
Of course.
Exactly. But I'm not sure that it's gonna happen anyway.
Yeah.
From the way these two guys talked, it was like, look, we're just here, we have to do this, it's part of our job, but
Kind of.
here's our map, here's where we're thinking that these things will go.
So do they need us to agree to that prior to them going farther? with
They
it?
need us to send them a letter by tomorrow saying that we are in support of the project and would agree to maintain those improvements to the sidewalks and the curbing inside the city limits. That's what they were asking for.
Just tell them we're in great concern about Celeste, cause somebody's gonna get killed.
Well, and
Or
I
at least
told them we have some other areas that we would like to see some improvements. This, out here on this intersection, they said probably what we're gonna be doing in the future with those intersections is actually removing crosswalks.
That would be
So that
ideal.
you just have one, you know.
What
Yeah.
is it, there's actually too many right through there. Make it one, cause today
You
I
don't
had to
get
stop for
people
some
from
dude out in
crossing.
the middle of the road.
No.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, guys, this is the 3rd time that DOT has come in to fix these handicap ramps. And I said, I'm just gonna tell you, like, we need people to be safe crossing the streets. And we can't get any help with signage or flashing lights I said, you guys funded a pedestrian plan and a sidewalk feasibility study, all of which call for this stuff, but you will not,
Take that.
Implement it.
you won't implement it. You know, and they said, well, we know, but it's a political thing to fix these ramps. Well, I don't think that they're making a big impact on the citizens of our town. I said, what would help them is to be able to feel like they could cross the street without getting run over,
Yeah.
you know.
And a little bit off topic, but right there, is there any shot of them patching all them holes on West Main? I mean,
Them? No.
they're jerking your car out of the road right now.
Well, the ones that's down here, they're gonna have to replace that whole line, that water line. They got it open back up, but the whole line has to be replaced.
So they won't.
So that's
touch
why they've not been
That's why
patched.
they
But
won't touch
DOT will not patch anything,
No.
here or outside, anything that has to do with our water line. They were
Oh.
happy to come and build their road over top of our water lines
Yeah.
and not relocate them as they were supposed to have done. But then when they
So-
blow out because they're
So now they busted
12 feet
one.
underground and full of shot rock, it's a whole thing.
But on the subject at hand there, Heather, I mean, what's your thoughts on it? I mean, we currently maintain the sidewalks anyway. I mean, if it's new, it's something that's not gonna need much maintenance.
Well, I
for-
mean, that was the point they made. This
for a
is
long
brand new
time.
stuff. You're probably not gonna have to do much maintenance on it for another 20 or 30 years, you know. I don't see a problem with that. I don't think they're gonna get enough funding to do what they wanna do.
To start
I
with.
mean, he said there was only like, it was somewhere around 200 million statewide for this project. And it's not been funded yet, but that's the proposal.
And if you opt maybe to get out of it, then later down the road, they may make it a requirement and you have to go in and do all of it.
Could be. I don't know.
I
Still
don't-
250,000 we ain't got, so.
I
Don't be
think it
crazy
hurts
not to send a
anything
letter.
to
Okay.
write that letter of support. Do you guys? I mean,
Send
I
that
don't
to
see it-
Mr.
Support of
Evans
the letter.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it.
But I told them when the maps they brought had tons of this stuff out on the side, out in the county, I said, the town will not agree to maintain anything outside the city limits. You know, and they said, well, I guess we'll have to go to the county and talk to them about that.
That's
And they
kinda-
show
that's kinda
up
how that
like
works.
2 days ago and said, well, our deadline's Friday. And I said, well, guys, so, all right, that's all on Shane.
Okay. We'll move on to Miss Leslie.
Thank you, sir. I sent out the budget versus actual, and it's about spin out. So,
99.9.
just about, and so on the 11th, I'll do, I'm gonna be doing an amendment to clean up just a few things on it. Anybody have any questions about it? Okay, well, the next thing I have is this, project ordinance for the police department, the maintenance shed building renovation. Just the same deal, I just changed some of the wording, you know, for the Office of State Budget Management funded. And the grant revenues are $1,800,000. Construction and related costs is $1,498,919. And then contract and service expenses, designers, architects, engineering, construction management, observation, $301 and $81, $301,000. So total project is $1,800,000. We already have that money and are actually earning pretty good interest on it right now, but we have to adopt this so I can actually start writing a check to the people.
I make a motion to adopt it.
I'll second.
And along those lines, I talked with the architect this week and also the civil engineer and the mechanical and electric and plumbing engineering firms. We've got a small contract out to them that they're reviewing. We got the MEP back, not the civil, but he's hoping to be at sometime into July, 1st of August, so that'll be good. We have till October the 3rd of 2025 to complete the renovation of these funds.
All right, thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to Chief Howell's report. He's obviously not here. I will make a note, when we give Brian so much hard time with his reports. Niles don't make many mistakes, but he did with this one. He wrote Father's Day with an L, so you might want to let him know next month, because we give Brian such a hard time with his reports. But just for everyone's information, the call volume for the month was 41. Total for the year was 163 calls for the year. I don't think there was anything that Niles needed to let anyone
No, I
know,
don't think
was
so.
there? All right, and Brian is done with both of his. We'll move on to Mr. Corbin.
Thank you. I wasn't here for last month, I apologize for that. A larger event to take care of. This month we have 26 events, next month we have 23. And then coming up for public events, we have the Hard Times Benefit Concert, which is at 6:30 on June 21st, and then the Sock Hop Dance, which is July 5th at 7 p.m. That's a bride and girl event. I've got more public events, they're just a little further down the road. We're still staying pretty booked up in private events right now. That's mostly all I have. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer.
Anybody have any questions for Corbin?
just appreciate the hard work. I was down there for that one and it looked great.
Is that, the concert?
Yeah.
The Dylan Wilson's, yeah.
Yeah,
Packed out a house.
it was full.
Yeah.
I guess I was kinda amazed you could put that many peoples that
That-
close together.
That is the fire code, is exactly what we had out. So
Wow.
no more could go in.
It was a great event.
All right, thank you, Corbin. We'll move on to the council members' reports. Anybody have anything to report on besides me?
They didn't, that's a high country, they just mostly discussed and tried to, explain their budget. And, they did say that there was somebody there that said the, state had thought they were gonna have a shortcome, but actually they have money now, and if you have any wish list, get it into them. I'm sure they've told you that, though.
Yeah.
We've got a wish list, don't we?
Always, always. I just don't know how many more wishes that we can handle at this time. We'd like to get some of our wishes finished before we start, yeah.
Just keep wishing.
Just keep wishing.
Thank you, Bill. This just came up yesterday. I got asked to, bring this letter of support to you guys for your opinion, and, we can all talk about it, but I'd like obviously for Randy to be much involved in it because he knows more about it than any of us do, but it's a letter of support for, 26 additional acute beds at Mission. And I know that, we have offered our support to Advent, last month, and, I don't know that there's any reason that we can't do both.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if these are the same, if they're vying for the same beds.
They are.
They
Yeah.
are?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, we need more beds.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I was talking about today, there's twice today that we're out of ambulances. There's probably twice a day we get the thing from Mission that says they're on surge, and only taking acute stuff. So, if Tommy'd been in the ambulance, we'd have probably had to call to get permission, even though it's pretty acute, to just get his toe off. But on the scheme of things, they're gonna say, I'll just take him to Spruce Pine. And so, it really puts our service in a mess.
Randy, we know these beds are just for the Mission system, right? So
Right.
it's not necessarily would be at Spruce Pine.
No,
Okay.
No, I think they're probably looking more for Asheville.
at the big house.
I mean,
They
yeah.
always look at the big house. Don't quote me on Please, please. that. Yeah, please. Randy always said, it's all about the big house. And it is, we all know
But
that.
what if they got 26 beds? Are they gonna staff 26 new beds?
That's the question.
That's the big question. That's where the problem is.
Yeah.
And I've not heard back from Graham Fields. He was by a couple of weeks ago, the gentleman from Advent. I think Mission had filed some kind of lawsuit against him. I think that has been somehow resolved or something, he felt like.
Yeah,
And-
they told them to take that
Yeah.
to the
And
bank.
so, they're going forward with their plans to build their hospital in Weaverville.
Yeah, and then,
And these beds, I think, would be acute care again. Maybe, he talked about, no, I think they're gonna have a NICU unit. I know they're gonna do labor and delivery, a C-section suite, a NICU they wanna put in. And then so many of those beds would be used for heart care patients or something acute,
cardiac,
cardiac,
yeah,
yeah.
ICU, CCU.
Well, labor and delivery without a NICU is not a good thing anyway, in my opinion, but. So, what's y'all's opinion on this? I don't wanna not support anyone, but I don't wanna do something that causes, what we've done already to you know, harm Advent in any way, or?
I mean, I don't know what, Randy, I don't know what these letters of support matter to Department of Health and Human Services
They
one
don't.
way or another.
They don't, the only thing I would say is that the verbiage in our letter should say, we want 26 at each place. We want it for Advent, and we also want it at Mission. And we strongly would like to see more staffing. Now, they came out on the news and finally got all the red tape back in the box. So they got back in line with what they were asked to do in 1 day shy.
To keep from shutting down?
1 day shy.
I mean, those,
And that's a scary thought.
yeah.
And all of it's posturing. I mean, they can't shut Mission down.
With me.
Cause then where does all those people go? So the only thing I would ask is probably verbiage on the letter, I mean,
To say that we're doing this with, but also supporting Advent in their 26 beds.
yeah, we support both houses, the big house and the little house.
Wha- Is it the same 26 beds, or is it,
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that spoken of. I would think it's a posture
Yeah.
is what I would think, but.
It's
I don't
funny,
know.
the timing of it.
Sure.
It makes you,
Yeah.
makes you feel like that's the,
And knowing how they operate,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Was this a draft, or just, okay.
Did that letter come, it had to come out of Mission, didn't it?
No, it come from Tanya Hale
Oh.
at Blue Ridge. But it come through Megan McKinney. And obviously, the first thing I asked, I said, is this for Spruce Pine, for Blue Ridge? And she said, this is probably gonna be in Buncombe County.
Sure.
So, I mean, she was up front.
I mean, you know, we've said forever, if they'd ever back Spruce Pine's program and go back to having orthopedic surgery and obstetrics. I mean, back 1960, it was a great hospital.
Yeah.
And then they kept cutting it up till it's about an ER with a general surge. I think I heard that surgeon left.
And that's a shame, because from Yancey County, it's convenient. I mean, a
Oh,
lot
sure.
more convenient than Mission
Yeah.
is.
Well, two of our trucks today were in Asheville, so that's at least a 3-hour turnaround. So those two trucks are out of the picture.
Did they shut down the labor and delivery in McDowell?
No.
No,
Okay.
it's still there, but it's hicky. If they called us, we called in one night and they said, do not bring them here. I said, I'm not asking permission.
Yeah.
I'm telling you I'm
Yeah,
coming.
you don't have many options when someone's in
Yeah,
labor. I mean,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Would rather be up on top of Old Fork Mountain, or
Yeah.
would we rather be in the ER?
yeah,
I
exactly.
see y'all in 10.
Yeah. What do you want me to say? The town, it says in Searcher, you want me in Searcher or not? The town of Burnsville supports additional beds for hospital care for our citizens.
Throughout the western end of the state. I mean, you don't have to name them or name an event, you just say, as many beds as we could get, we would be for. Unless you just wanna call them out and say, we back Advent and we back you. As far as timing goes,
But if it's the same beds,
yeah,
you know.
It is, and I mean, this basically says, you know, Mission's ready to go if we have these beds. My understanding is that inpatient beds at Mission Hospital are frequently fully occupied, which causes delay in getting patients admitted to an acute care bed. Additional 26
Oh, so
beds
they're
at
just
Mission
gonna-
Hospital
they're just
will
gonna
help
open them rooms
patients.
up.
Yeah,
They're gonna open the rooms up.
They still have to staff the rooms. I mean,
Yeah.
they apparently have them, but they keep them closed
Yeah.
because they don't have the staff.
Right.
put them in the hallway, don't we?
I'm not comfortable with endorsing this.
I mean, it'd be great if they had the beds on the one hand, but on the other
On the
hand,
other hand, if it's gonna take away
Yeah, that's what
from
that's what
Advent, that's what I'm worried about.
that's what I'm afraid of too. I don't wanna make a mistake there.
well, if Mission gets them, Advent won't.
And I'm not for that. I'm a big Advent fan.
I want my MRI from tomorrow to 3 months from now, probably.
Well, listen,
made
we'll
an
wait,
appointment at
we'll wait
Springtime.
until you get your
Make a
appointment.
Let me see if I can get that
your
tomorrow.
appointment
No,
before we send
I
this
said
out.
that totally joking. It's just funny if that's how it worked out today, but
Well, we'll wait until.
no, I think
Don't accept.
it would be best if we could look into this a little bit further.
Yes.
I mean, especially.
Well,
with-
they went,
with-
the last time that we supported additional beds for Mission, it was the same fight. It was between them and Advent. And Advent had, at that time, was talking about locating their hospital out in Inca, in Candler. And that doesn't make much sense for
For
our
us,
residents.
for us,
But
no.
they've purchased the property in Weaverville, they have the plan. That makes more, that's closer.
I want to put you in the hospital faster, I put you in the ER faster.
Yeah.
You want
I
me
mean,
to make some phone calls and Randy can too, and
Well,
Heather, and
I'll
let's
just
just
say
kinda
up front,
see.
if it's the same beds, I'm not for it.
Okay.
If it's taking the beds away
Away
from
from-
Advent, I am not for it.
I agree.
and I'm not either. I mean-
You know, they need to
So
get
let's
their
take it.
act together.
So table. I don't think anybody here wants to take those Advent meds.
And I don't know what the situation with these, you know, I guess need applications that they send in. I'm assuming somebody at the state says, you've got the staff to staff this many beds and this is all the beds we're giving you to staff. Now they're wanting extra beds, which I'm not saying they don't need them,
Oh,
but,
they need 'em.
but
It's just the fact they don't staff. And they could staff. Of course, they're paying travel nurses $60 an hour.
yep.
But there's just a side of me that believes that if Mission gets those and they're able to staff them, that it's something that they would use on a state level to say, we don't need Advent here.
Yeah.
I just think that's where this is going.
Or what they're
I mean,
trying.
it's
Yeah.
funny how it just came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
table.
Make a motion to
Uh,
table that.
You did?
Yes.
I second.
Everybody okay with that?
Okay.
And Randy, if you hear something, you know, while you're out,
Yeah,
that changes that, please
yeah,
let us
as soon as we
know.
get out of here, I'll make a call.
Okay.
I think there's nobody here that wants to hurt Blue Ridge, but these beds aren't for Blue Ridge.
No, I mean, we could really use 26 beds at Spruce Park.
Mhm.
I mean, that whole left side of that hall's empty.
Empty.
All right. Anybody else have a report, any council members? All right, we'll move on to the chamber.
Good evening, everybody. How are you tonight?
Good, hope you are.
I am, thank you. We clearly are very focused right at the moment on the upcoming crafts fair at the beginning of August. We've been working with Heather to create a new memorandum of understanding between the town and the chamber, just not new, updating what was already there, I should say. That document was 15 years old?
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just making sure all our i's are dotted and t's are crossed, but things are going well. We actually have a waiting list at this point for booths. So we will have about 225 vendors and spaces here, and are expecting our usual crowd, if not larger. So I'm excited about the fact that New Ray is opening the weekend of the week of the crafts fair. So talked to Amanda yesterday, they're already about half full on
Look
that
out, Ro.
weekend, and that's, she thinks largely due to, I'm sorry?
I said, look out, Roland.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna be busy.
She thinks that's largely due to the crafts fair, so that's exciting timing, and that's primarily what we're working on right now, is just trying to get through all of that and get it set up and done.
It's that time of year, that's all that you'll have to do for,
Yes, yes.
it's
That
plenty.
We're looking forward to August 10th, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's it. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
How many booths did you say again has been?
There's 220 booth spaces,
225.
225 booth spaces altogether, yeah. And that, I believe, includes the vendors, the nonprofits, and the food vendors as well.
And you have, how many on the waiting list?
I believe Pete said 25 are on the waiting list.
Is that typical numbers from what you,
It's up.
is it up?
It's
So I
up.
said that,
As-
cause last year they didn't have, they had plenty of room last year.
Yeah, and our visitor numbers are up. We've gone up almost 20% over last month, so we're already seeing a lot more. There was a point in time today when we had Pete and me and Jim Parlier was our volunteer today. We were all like shuffling between people and trying to talk to everybody, so we're really seeing feet on the street in town, which is exciting too.
Good.
Yeah.
I have, I guess one question, since this is your first year, like, on the streets, are you putting the booths together and leaving the sides open?
I'm not sure I understand. They're adjacent to one another.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Yes,
Street he's talking about, right?
Yeah, if you looked out the window,
right.
put the booths back to back.
I do not know the answer to that. I can certainly find out for you and get that information.
Yeah, I
back
mean,
to you
it's
if you'd
just,
like.
since it's your first year,
Yeah.
because of medical emergencies and fires,
Oh, that will still be accessible. I
yeah,
can assure
it
you
just
that.
really, whose ever brainchild that was, it just helped everything out.
Okay.
I think
Cause
it
we
was
used to have to
Niles.
try to get through, yeah,
Miles Howe.
It was Niles Howe.
yeah.
I think the streets have been open at least the last couple of years with the booths along the edge. Is that what you're asking?
No, the booths
No,
are
the
actually in the
booths are
middle.
pushed to the middle, back to
Yeah.
back, and
And
then
that's
the,
what you do
the
or don't want?
streets
Do
do
walk,
walk.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that if they need to get to a structure fire on one of the buildings, they can get a truck to it.
Gotcha, okay, I will make sure that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't,
Yeah.
there won't be a
If-
question to get.
That's the way
back
Pete
to
had
you
it
on
last
the
year, so,
second
yeah,
round.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, this makes me nervous when somebody new starts.
I can certainly understand, well, safety is first.
Oh,
so
yeah, it's just,
absolutely.
it's such a mess.
It's a
anyway.
lot of people in a very confined area.
It's a
so
mess.
There is a lot of
Sometimes
people
it's
in very
hard to.
confined areas, so, yeah, definitely.
If you pull up behind 50 people with your red lights on, you really hate to turn the siren on,
Yeah.
but they're like, is this an emergency? No, we just lit it up for the fun of it.
Yeah, you thought it was pity.
Yeah,
Okay, definitely. I'll
Yeah,
talk to Pete
thanks.
tomorrow and make sure that gets coordinated so that
yeah,
is accessible.
that's great. Brian and Niles both out today, but they're great for helping you with that stuff, and then if I can do anything, just holler.
Thank you, appreciate that. Anything else?
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
I would like to say the mural downstairs that we has done is beautiful.
It
It
is.
is
It's
nice.
really neat.
Oh, yeah, their jacket.
I
It
helped,
is nice.
I helped on that a little bit, thank you.
What'd you do, put the scaffold up?
I actually did.
Did you hold a ladder?
You don't have anything from High Country, Bill? I mean,
No, other than
nothing
just
else?
that they primarily discussed the budget and then they was talking about the state having extra money. They were explaining their,
A little extra.
So, okay, so we don't have any closed session to discuss. We'll move on to item number 12,
Which
which is
is gonna be,
a lot.
I forgot to bring my packet.
It's okay, I made five.
she made copies.
I did, cause I had to redo the workers' comp, property, liability.
We are going into our budget discussion. You guys are more than welcome to stay.
Be a work
but it-
session, but we just added it on here, unless you wanna sit around
The
and
time,
hear the boring
the,
stuff.
Go to
the
the
timing
bathroom.
didn't work out. We had to have this so we could do next week, so.
Yeah.
But yous are more than welcome to stay. I'm not running you off, but anyway. Katie, you have to stay.
I'm not staying, I don't like you, but the 26 buds, 100% are the same, because Megan and what Tanya came to the commissioner meeting